Okay, welcome everyone to tonight's presentation, Beyond What Do I Say When. This is a required presentation for the new guides, and I'm incorporating some of the slides from when I first saw this presentation at the 2012 Hands and Voices Conference. So today's presentation, we're going to explore what do I say when it's not enough? What are other options? What's the next step? Our stories are powerful, but how do we know what parts to share, when to stop, when to even start? And give you strategies to help families open up so your support is what they need. And we're going to really look at mutual mentoring, the attitude of quality. You know, at the end of the day, we're all parents of children with hearing loss. I am no better than you, and so forth. We're all in the same boat together. We're all partners. So who needs this presentation? Is it the natural talkers, the ones that can carry on a conversation with a tree stump, or the natural thinkers, those that, oh man, I wish I would have thought of that when I was having that conversation. You think of it later kind of thing. Just so for those of you that can see the presentation, the top picture, that is Janet DeGeorge, and she is our president of Hands and Voices headquarters. And then below that is Sarah Kennedy, and she is also on the Hands and Voices headquarters board. And she is also in charge of putting together that newspaper, The Communicator, that is published by Hands Voices National. But to answer the question, who needs this presentation, we all do. Whether, you know, we can talk to anyone or the ones that, you know, maybe are a little reserved, everyone needs to get the strategies to work with families and learn the tools tonight. So, but what if the family that you're supporting doesn't have anything to say? There's awkward silences, or maybe they're just shy and quiet and they kind of keep to themselves. You know, what do you do next? Well, we're going to explore some different techniques. And the first one we're going to start with is motivational interviewing. These are open-ended questions. And for instance, you're not going to say, do you want chocolate or vanilla? Because you're just giving them two options. They're going to say chocolate or vanilla, more than likely, and then your conversation is over. So maybe when you're talking with family and they're explaining to you about a recent visit with a provider, you could say, well, how do you feel about that visit? Well, you know, what did you feel like when you got home? Instead of saying, did you think it was a good visit, where it would be a yes or a no maybe answer, trying to leave it a little bit open. Reflective listening strategies would be, so what I hear you saying is that you were really frustrated when you left that appointment. Asking permission. Do you mind if we talk about, you know, how Joey's appointment went? Or do you mind if we talk about the issues that you're having at his school? Maybe they've mentioned it to you, but maybe they're done with it, or maybe they're at their breaking point, and they just, if they say one more thing or talk about it one more time, they're going to explode. So ask them if it's okay to talk about it first. Questions that elicit change talk by the parent. So letting them think of what they could do differently next time, or, you know, what strategies or thoughts do they have to make a change? For instance, using the phrase, what would you like to see different about your current situation? And have them brainstorm some ideas and then guide them along. When we talk with families this way and they're coming up with their own thoughts and ideas, that gives them the power. And then with that, they're not going to hold on to us like their security blanket, because they're going to realize that I can do this on my own. I just thought of 3 different ways that I can handle this situation. She didn't tell me how to do it. I thought of it on my own, and then she supported me in those decisions. Diving a little bit deeper with the open-ended question. So again, with the closed-ended question, you're going to pretty much get just a yes or no, or one choice or the other. With the open-ended question, it allows you to dive a little bit deeper into the area that you're looking at. So you might ask a question like, well, how long did it take you to get that appointment? And then they say 4 weeks. Well, then you can follow up with something, well, what did you do during those 4 weeks? You know, did you know who you could talk to during that time? Did you write down any questions? Or what were you thinking about during that time? And sparking more conversation. Following up with, why did you feel that way? Or how did that happen? Or how did you feel when, you went to the store and that person asked about your child's hearing loss, or said, oh, you should be signing with your child? But overall, make sure you're listening. The conversation isn't for you to be filling in the space. You're there to be listening and guiding them. And if you're asking these questions but you're not listening, that's not going to help anything, because it'll just frustrate them, and they could say, well, I just told you, how I felt after the appointment. Didn't you hear me? And then once that happens, they shut down. Reflective listening, again, what I stated earlier. So what I hear you telling me is you're nervous about Johnny getting a cochlear implant, but you know it's the right move. Is that right? Has something else come up that maybe is making you feel this way? Engaging in the conversation. Get rid of those distractions. If you're the multitasker, you can't be typing on your computer while you're talking to them on the phone, because they can hear the click, click, click of the keys. All right? If you've got your family there while you're talking to the family that you're working with, remove yourself from your family. Find a different place in the house that you can be, where the TV isn't blaring in the background, the dog isn't barking, the doorbell isn't ringing. Try to eliminate as many distractions that you can, so they know that you're giving them your full attention. Empathizing with the speaker's point of view. Yeah, that must have been really scary, what had happened when he ran out to the street, and you're not, unsure if he was going to be able to hear the car that was approaching him. Whatever the situation may be, put yourself in that shoe. The next point, mirroring the mood. How do you think if that person's sad and is having a rough moment, and you come in, well, that's okay, you can do it, rah-rah, like the cheerleader type of attitude, that might not come across quite the right way for that time, okay? We have the best of intentions, but we also want to know that they can have those emotions, and they can be who they want to be in that moment. Again, summarizing what the speaker says, it doesn't hurt to repeat back. So today, we talked about these 3 things, and you wanted some more information and sign language classes. Was there anything else that I missed? And again, they might be focused on the fact that they don't have a babysitter for their child. They don't know who to trust with their child while, they want to go out for a date, or they have to go out for an appointment or something. And you're thinking about Johnny's going to be transitioning in 2 months. And so while they're, bringing up, I really need to find somebody that can care for him while we go out and you change the conversation to, well, let's talk about what's happening in 2 months, okay? If that is holding the family back at this moment, they're not ready for other things, no matter how ready you are, okay? So really stick to topic, focus on what that family's focusing on, even if it seems insignificant to you, because it isn't to that family. And you have to draw back to where you were at the beginning and those times where you look back now and you think, oh my gosh, I was so silly to think that and silly to be worried about that. That's where they're at right now. And they have to come to that point and realize that, you know what, their child's going to soar. They just got to feel comfortable getting there and ready to get there. Active listening. So if you're meeting with them face-to-face, you got active eye contact, your body language looks like you're listening to them. Again, reflective response to what I hear that you're saying, clarification. So today we talked about these topics. Empathy, you understand the emotions that they're having and where they're coming from. And your common ground, you're both parents of children with hearing loss. So why you need to engage the family in order to get the art of story right. Okay, you want to know what their story is first, because that could alter what you share or don't share, or how you share what your journey has been. Okay, I am not going to talk about our cochlear implant journey if I know that this family is scared out of their pants about getting a cochlear implant. My story might not be the best story to be sharing with them, okay, because we've had a couple bumps in the road. Let's see where they're at and go from there, okay? Again, I'm going to share what I need to share. I'm not going to overtake the conversation with my story. That is not the point. And some of them will say, well, tell me, what happened with you? Tell me about your story. And tell them a little chunk, and then redirect it towards them. So, in all of these pictures, you see people listening, okay? That's the most important part of our job, is to be there to listen. And it might be uncomfortable, and it might be awkward to let that silence just be, but you need to let it happen so that you can figure out what's going on. But aren't I the seasoned parent? Yeah, we've been there, done that, maybe even for a while. And typically mentoring is a top-down kind of thing. But really with what we do, we want to see it as a mutual mentoring, okay? We want to see that we're equals here. We're here to help each other. And, not one person is better than another. We can learn from each other, and I learn from you guys all the time, okay? So you need to keep that in mind when we're working with our families. So there's some 8 phrases that you can utilize when you're in situations with your families. So if a parent says they don't have any questions right now, well, what is one of your favorite things to do with your daughter? What's your favorite day of the week? What do you look forward to? Maybe it's not about the hearing, it's just getting to know them. Maybe there's no response when you say, how are you doing? And so you've asked that question, they haven't responded. Maybe then you lead into, well, is Audrey sleeping through the night? How's that going for you? Or how's Bob doing in school? Do you have friends? What's his favorite thing to do at school? And people love to brag on their kids. You bring it back to the kid, I'm sure they're going to start talking. Have you said that you're a parent too? As much, I do tell them, but sometimes they forget or they get confused with all the different providers that are helping them. So, if you're looking a way to connect, you could say, I don't know how much Carrie told you when she talked to you, but, you know, my son also has a hearing loss, and I found out about the same time as you did, and now he's 12 years old, and, you know, things are doing really well. The family doesn't want to visit you in person. You don't say, I'm not going to bite. You would say, I'm going to be in the area anyway. So really it's not a problem because a lot of times people just don't want to put you out. You could pique their interest, okay? Did you hear about the next event coming up? Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. We get together, we're going to go have bowling with a lot of other families with children with hearing loss. It's just a great family fun day. Why don't you come and join us? So they're still quiet and they don't have any needs. They're not really giving you anything. You know what? How about I mail you a few things you can look over, and the next time I call you, we can talk about those resources that I mailed out to you and see if you have any questions. They continue to not have any questions. They're a tough cookie. Well, I'm really happy that all is going well. How about I give you a call back and next month on Monday the 7th. But if anything pops up before then, feel free to contact me. Remember that things come to me later, and sometimes I wish that I had somebody to talk to. Well, that's why I'm here for you. So don't be shy. Give me a call if something comes up before I call you. None of this has worked. You've not been able to set up a home visit, and the phone conversation is still kind of weak. Well, it's really great talking with you today. How about I give you a call on December 4th at 7 o'clock? Would that work for you? Great. I really look forward to learning more about Bob and hearing what he's been up to in the meantime. Remember, if you need anything before the next call, don't hesitate to contact me. And if it comes to the point after that and you're not, all again December 4th and there isn't a conversation, then you can say, maybe you don't need my support, maybe we should close your file. It's okay to offer that suggestion, okay? Maybe a family just doesn't know how to communicate what they're feeling, or maybe they're afraid to say it out loud. Try to connect with them. Maybe see what hobbies they have. Start off light. Get to know them as a person, and that might open some doors. Again, thinking outside of the box. Ask them if they would like to talk with someone else. Sometimes, as much as I love to be you guys' matchmaker, sometimes it doesn't work out, and that's okay too. Don't take it personally. We can connect them with another guide. And again, if they don't need your services, they can exit the program and re-enroll at any time. All right, any questions? All right, fab. Moving on to the post-test. Andrea?
Yes.
Fabulous. All right, she's going to read the question again, post your answer in the chat box, and we're good to go.
All right, number 1, if you are a natural talker, then you have no need for this presentation. True or false?
All right. And 2.
Asking the right question is pointless if you don't listen. True or false?
Question 3.
A motivational interviewing technique is A, ask open-ended questions, B, be an active listener, C, to ask probing questions, D, ask questions that you have already asked.
Andrea, that was for you. Did you hear that?
What?
Oh, never mind.
I didn't hear anything.
It was a little kitty meowing.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about now?
A little kitty?
Uh-huh.
No. I don't know what you're talking about.
Wait, you got me hooked on in Savannah.
Oh! Tom, okay. Oh, funny.
I'll let you guys in on a deep secret of Andrea's. She plays Tom the cat.
So do you.
Now I do because of you. Because my poor kitty had fleas all around him because I hadn't played with him so long. So if you guys want to know what we do to de-stress, there you have it. It just takes a nap. Oh, I'm blushing. All right. Moving on. Question 4. Or maybe not. Oh my gosh, it says we're done.
No,
We
just
really
click on
are.
the guide. Click on the circle thing down below. Like refresh it.
Circle thing.
Or go like
Circle.
close the window and reopen the window. Or not close it, but go down and do you see the icon down on the bottom of your computer? Just click on it. That's how I had to get it reactivated a little while ago.
Okay.
Is it working? These poor people.
Oh, it says we're all done. Isn't that funny?
Oh, it does?
All right, guys, we're going to, yeah, it won't pull up the last slide. Isn't that silly?
It's weird. You can always reverse all the way to the last one.
I am.
Or to the third.
I just got to, all right, here we go.
What number are we on? 4? Okay.
4.
Number 4. As a parent guide, you are A, no longer in need of support for your family, B, the one who has all the answers in any situation, C, seen as a mutual mentor, D, the family's only resource for hearing loss.
All right, question 5.
An appropriate response when the family doesn't want to visit with you in person. A, I am going to be in the area anyway. B, I am required to see you in person. C, wouldn't your son like to meet my son? D, I won't bite.
Now remember, if you guys hang up early, I hear who jumps off the line because it announces your name. So don't abandon ship before it's time. Okay. Why can't I find, oh, there's mine. My chat box can't get very big, which is very frustrating. It's hard to look at
If you
your...
close participants.
Oh, yeah, that's true. All right. Okay, wonderful. We are set. Don't forget to bill for your training time, guys. 1 hour. Please, please, please try to bill it the same month that it happens. And that is that. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.